Well, it's that time of year again. Right then, it's that time of year again where all thoughts turn to Christmas. And for wood turners, that means a couple of things. Christmas trees, Christmas baubles for trees, snowmen. By far the most popular is snowmen, right? Now, I did a video on these, geez, it must be 5 or 6 years ago, maybe, right? It was one of the first videos I ever put out, long time ago, right? And I'm going to revisit it because I've been asked a lot of questions about it and I'm going to try and answer them, right? So, first thing is blank. It is 9 inches long, about, right? It's about 4 inches wide and it's made out of beech. Now, this is my scratch plate. This saves me so much time, right? What it is, you see it's got Snowmen written on it, a few more up there for stuff I regularly do, with nails at certain places, and I just scratch it against the piece, and it gives me my lines, right? So what I have is, here is the hat, that's the hat, that's the rim of the hat, that's the head, that's the middle one, that's the bottom one, and that's the base, right? Now, you can do this with any tool you want. An awful lot of people do them with skews. I've done a few with skews myself, but I find my favourite tool, which is the Continental Spindle Gouge, I'm just quicker with, right? Now, as you've seen in the thumbnail and in the intro, there's a shelf up there and it has a load of these blanks on it. That shelf was completely full of these blanks, and I'll have to fill it again before the Christmas markets are over, right? What I want to do first is I want to cut in where I put those lines. To about the width the hat's going to be. There. That one about the same. That's the top of the head. The bottom of the head. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting on the lines are all on this side of the gouge, right? This one in again, but a little wider. This one, same again, but a little wider again. And the last one, only in a little bit, right? So that is what you could call your snowman base, right? Then I'm just going to grab a skew and with a peeling cut, peel these down to size. Bring the rim of the hat in to about there, right? Bring the head in. To about the same width as the hat. Step everything down. Now I want to start shaping. As I said, I will use my Continental Spindle Gouge for doing it, because it's, out of all the tools, my favourite tool is a Continental Spindle Gouge. Right, so just roll the head. Right. So the next one from about the middle. Now, people get paranoid doing these balls, right, doing the snowballs. They do not have to be a perfect sphere. Right? Did you ever see, I think I said this in the first video as well. Have you ever seen a snowman where everything is a perfect sphere on it? Because I know I haven't. And go back the other way. I'm just roughing in the shape at the moment, so I'm not worried about finished cuts or anything like that. Now we'll grab a detail gouge and get me nice transitions going. Right, clean up the cut on the end of the hat. Clean up the cut at the edge. Now this one, I'm just going to do a classic snowman with a top hat, right? But I'll show you something now in a second. Clean up the hat. Give him kind of a scoop in his hat. Clean up everything up at the hat. Right, now we go and clean up the body. I'm just shear scraping these to clean them up, pull any tool marks. And that one is nearly okay. Now these are quite quick to do and they sell really well. Slight line there. Now, as I said, you can do these with just about any tool. Right then, this is what I want to tell you. From about here, right, this is your snowman base, right? You can change that hat around a load, right? If you cut it, say about there, right, you end up with a Western style hat, right? If you bring that rim in tight, leaving just about that much depth-wise, right, round over the top, and then just turn the top into a big bubble, color it with a Sharpie, right, paint the main hat black, color that with a Sharpie, you end up with a bobble hat. If you do the rim kind of about halfway in between and just round over the top, you end up with a bowler hat. There are loads of different hats you can put on these guys, and it gives variety to your snowman. Right, so that's it basically turned. All I have to do now is sand it and then paint the hat and the rest, right? So I'll sand it and I'll be right back. Right then, there we are, quickly sanded. Now I'll just burnish the body. Now that the body's burnished, I will do the top of the hat. Just gonna move this. Okay. Now, all I want to do at the top of the hat is get rid of that mark from the live center. Very slightly high. Right, now that mark's gone, I'll just stand the top of the hat. You may have noticed I have not burnished the top of the hat. There's a reason for that. Let's get to 120. $180 and $240 and $240. Now, as I said, I have not burnished the top of the hat, or the hat at all, actually. The reason being, I want to paint it, and paint doesn't work too well on burnished wood. Now, where's my thing? There it is. It's a shake. When you're getting the paint, try and get paint that dries quickly. Right. And I know I said this in the other video as well, keep your paintbrush in a little bag like that, just so that it doesn't dry out, because you'll go through so many paintbrushes if you don't do that. Painting it is pretty easy, right? It's literally just a case of hold the paintbrush to it, let the paintbrush do its thing. Now what I normally do is I will stop the lathe and just check, especially here on the rim of the hat, that it has gone all the way down. Just touch it up, and then I'll give that whole thing a stroke upwards. Just even the paint out. Right, and now I will spin that up and let it dry for the next stage. So I'll let that dry and I'll be right back. Right then, that hat is just about dry. So we want to part it off. Too close. Right, want to part it off. So cut in there. This is the way I do it anyway. Cut in there. Square that off a little bit. Take the sharp edge off, and then just cut in at an angle. Right. As soon as I'm past that, grab a little piece of 240 and just touch that edge you just cut, just to be sure. And just continue your cut. Right, and you end up with your basic snowman shape. Right, so we put him aside for a moment because we have to make him a nose. Right, noses are simple. This whole turning is a very simple turning, especially for new turners who kind of want to do something for Christmas. These snowmen are simple. Right. And something I've noticed is when I sell them, they normally go in threes. I have no idea why, but they just do. Right, okay. I have loads of pieces of beech like this just cut for making noses. As I said, I have loads of these things to do. Grab them in the jaws. Tail start back up. Excuse me, to move this camera again. Tail start back up just to keep everything solid. The more solid you can get it, the quicker you can do them. Grab my Continental again. Just round this thing off. Right. Bring down the front for the nose. What I'm looking for here is a very, very basic carrot shape. That's the right size for the snowman. Right, get rid of that tailstock. Out the way. Chop the carrot down. Bring it down to size. Right. Give it a quick sanding. Yet again, I don't want to varnish this because it's going to be taking a colour. Just down to 240. That's all I need. Right, now to get the colour, orange markers. I bought an entire box of these a couple of years ago and I'm still running through them. Right. Just colour carrot orange. Right. Then you want to make a little thing on the bottom that you can put into the snowman's face. A little spigot on the bottom. Now do that after you've coloured the nose, because then you're guaranteed to be coloured right the way up to the end. Grab a little saw that off, and you have your nose. Right then, I'll set up for putting this guy together and I'll be right back. Right then, this is both all sanded, right? And what I want to do is I need to mark where everything's going. So I'll put a mark for his nose, mark for one eye, mark for another eye, mark for his top button, mark for his middle button, right? And you'll end up with little holes like that, roughly where you want everything. This is a little mallet I made years ago at a beach. As you can see, it's well battered and well worn, and I'm using it to put these in, which are upholsterer's tacks with the dome head. They work very well for eyes and buttons and stuff. And where's that nose going to get? There's the nose. I'm going to put that up there in case I drop it again. Right, I need some thick CA, brad off for putting those marks in, and a drill with a small drill bit. Right now, first thing I want to do is make sure his nose fits. So I'm going to drill a hole in the mark where I have put the position of his nose. Right. And I just want to check that the little spigot we made will go into that hole, which it will. Right. Now, I do not want to glue that nose in yet. Right. What I'm going to do is I want to put the eyes I want to get all the nailing out of the way first. Right, so one there. Yeah. Tap it in. Another one there. Tap it in. And you see the little wooden mallet doesn't damage the tacks at all. Right, now I need a piece of ribbon for him, for his scarf. Scissors, need to grab the scissors. Right, have the scissors. So, I have loads of this kind of ribbon in loads of different colours. Right, they're available kind of anywhere. Right, so about the length of a scarf is about there. So we'll cut them off there. Handy if my scissors was sharp, which of course it is not. Grab a knife. I'm just going to grab a knife to cut this. Scissors may not be sharp, but the knives are. Okay. I'll trim that up when I go inside and I get a sharp scissors, because that's not neat enough, right? So wrap his scarf around it. Make sure the reindeers are the right way up. Pull it tight. Make sure it's around about the same length. I don't want this one exactly the same length because I want one of the sides be a little bit shorter so I can trim it. I usually do this inside on the kitchen table at the end of the evening, but because I've no camera set up in there, I'm going to do this one here. Hold on to him. Get one of your pins, put in his top button, and that holds his scarf. Put in the next button, drop it. Grab his nose. Oh, where's his nose gone? Don't tell me I've dropped that thing again. I've dropped this nose 3 times so far. And of course, when it goes down into the shavings below the lathe, it's hard to see. Oh no, I didn't. There it is. I forgot to put it there. Right, the easiest way I found in doing the noses is to get a little bit of CA, put it on something. It might seem a bit wasteful for this, but normally I probably do about 20 or 30 days at a time. Get a little bit of CA onto the spigot, push it into his face, and there you go. There is your finished snowman. Instead I'm going to trim the 2 of them because it doesn't look well. Now, there's your finished snowman. Now, as I said, don't keep them all the same. Change them up. Right, as I said, like, you can see there what I mean about you can change that hat into roughly anything you want. Right? They're dead simple. They're a great Christmas turning for new turners. And so they're simple, and even if you're not a new turner and you run a stall, they sell extremely well. So if you enjoyed that, I can get out of it. If you wouldn't mind clicking like on the video, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next one.